Well, hi everyone. My name is Brian Hainline, and I played college tennis at the University of Notre Dame from 1974 to 1978. My senior year, I played number one in singles and doubles. I've had a long history of being involved in tennis, but importantly, I was a recipient of the David Benjamin ITA Achievement Award in 2016, something very special in my life and something that helps me to understand and recognize even more the importance of the ITA always going forward. I actually just retired from the NCAA on May 31st of 2024, and there I was their first ever chief medical officer. And in that position, I was overseeing education, research, and policy for the 1,100 member schools and the 500,000 student athletes that are part of the NCAA. And importantly, there are 24 sports right now at the NCAA. And of course, we know that the most important sport, the best sport, is tennis. Well, the best advice I can give is that it's really awesome to be a student athlete. I mean, it's, and a lot of, and I happen to mentor a lot. I live in Douglaston, Queens, and, it's the home of McEnroe and Carrillo, and play tennis at the Douglaston Club. And every summer, really, for the last over 30 years, I actually work out still with high school players and young college players. And, they'll do drills with me and stuff like that. We'll play doubles. But a lot of the high school players who are prospective college players, they ask my advice, and sometimes their parents are saying, oh, he or she can't play college tennis because you really have to focus on your academics and it's too much distraction. And my advice is you have to go for it, because it's going to give you something that you could never have otherwise. There's just nothing that compares to being a collegiate athlete and all that takes, the discipline that it takes, but also the sense of freedom that it gives you, because through that discipline, you become free to travel around the country. You become free to compete in a way you otherwise couldn't have. And you'll learn lessons that you never can learn if you're not competing at an elite level as an athlete. So it's a very, very special world. And look, if you can't do it and academics are suffering or this or that, well, then you can walk away from it. But to not try it at the front end when you have that possibility, I think that's a mistake. So, and there's a way to figure things out. So look, what do we say about collegiate athletes? What do they want to do? Well, they want to train and compete. They want to study. They want to socialize, and they know they have to sleep. So then you have to start making decisions. So did I socialize maybe a little less and not go to those parties on Friday night when we were traveling with the team? Yeah. Did I miss it? I don't think so. And so you do have to make choices, and then you can't skip on your sleep, because if you skimp on your sleep, you don't perform as well. You don't study as well. So you learn this sense of, it's not even time management, but what we call energy management. And I think as an athlete, you learn energy management the best. And what is energy management? It's managing your physical energy, your mental energy, your emotional energy, and even your spiritual energy. I mean, when you're a collegiate athlete, it gives you this deep, deep creative sense of purpose, of who you are as a human being. So so I'm pretty big on being a college athlete. So I remember in 2016 when I received that award, I was also starting to become much more involved with the USTA as a volunteer. So I had been chief medical officer with the US Open for 16 years, which was really pretty cool. I got to know the players and what it means to be competing at that global level. But I was getting into being the board. I'm currently president and chair of the board of the USTA. And so when I received that award, it wasn't just that I was being acknowledged for having made some accomplishments as a collegiate player and after, but it meant something even more to me. It meant that the ITA and the USTA and the NCAA needed to really collaborate and work together. And that sort of it just struck me really incredibly viscerally of how important those three organizations are to be working together. So at the time I got the award, I was actually the NCAA chief medical officer. And as I said, working, to be back as a board member for the USTA. And so it was really not only a privilege, but I took it as a responsibility that going forward, collegiate tennis, the USTA, player development, and the NCAA, their championships, we all needed to be speaking together. And historically, that wasn't always the case. And so part of it was, well, look, wow, it's pretty great. I'm with people that are just so phenomenal. And so what a privilege it is. But it sort of struck me that I needed to take this one step further and do everything in my power and in my position to bring these three great organizations together more meaningfully.